I had big plans for how I was going to open this keynote. What I was going to do is I was going to come and make a lot of predictions. I was going to tell you things that would maybe unnerve you, make you a little anxious, a little worried. I was going to basically tell you that OpenAI is much further along than many realize, and that progress is coming at us fast. You're not ready. I'm not ready. Most brands aren't ready. Society may not be ready. And I was going to make you doubt a little bit. And then I was going to get good from there. But I was going to do all of that. But then my whole presentation, which I had to redo, was disrupted by AI. Go figure. OpenAI released some of the models I was going to predict would be coming out soon. And so, plot twist, I'm still going to do all those things that I told you I was going to do, warning, except now instead of telling you about it, I'm going to show you. So before we can have that conversation, we need to have a grounded understanding of the general trajectory or levels of AI. So what we have here is Google's general DeepMind team, their levels of AI as a prediction of where we're headed. And it starts very simple, no AI at all, level 0, and starts to move to level 1, level 2, level 3, and it goes all the way up to something that's a little bit hard to understand, which is level 5, superhuman intelligence, right? A little bit hard to wrap your mind around that, obviously. But today we're going to talk a decent amount around level 3 and level 4. And the reason why I'm focused on those are what Google says, their words, not mine. What are some of the risks when we achieve level 3? If you look at it right now, you started off with these basic models and you could sort of have a conversation with them. Sometimes it would tell you something helpful. Sometimes it would lie right to your face very boldly, hallucinate. But I think all would agree that we're close into that consultant level with AI. Something you can talk to, something you can get advice back from. At level 3 feels like, took a poll, that's where we would be at. So at level 3, Google shows that at about 90th percentile of all human adults, like skills and reasoning, task, those types of things. That would be level 3. So that 90th percentile. But what's interesting to me is what Google is saying is the risk. And the risk here is rapid societal change. And I feel like that's actually true. That's not much of a bold prediction. It feels like things are changing, and they're changing absolutely rapidly. Okay, so those are the levels. Level 0, nothing. Level 5, superhuman, something a little hard to wrap your head around. But those levels 3 and level 4, I want you to keep in the back of your head. So the model that was released is the OpenAI O1 model. And what makes it different is it combines AI with the first beginnings of human-level reasoning. And that's why when you've used AI in the past and it gives you those hallucinations and it doesn't quite feel right, it's because it can't reason. It's not a human, right? And it's doing a lot of pattern matching. That lack of reasoning is what's been stopping it from really, really taking off. So the new model, you can see, kind of giving away the headline here, is achieving PhD level reasoning. So GPT-3 could reason at an elementary school level. So think of this as an 8-year-old. Could reason about as well as an 8-year-old. Then GPT-4 came, and it could reason as someone in the US in high school that's usually around 17, 18 years old. That level of reasoning. The new model, the O1 model, is achieving PhD level reasoning. In the US, we have elementary school, then middle school, high school, college, master's, PhD. And if you look, what's interesting is it started off in that elementary school, kind of 8 years old. For us, it skipped middle school and went to high school. So it went from 8 to 18. Then it skipped college and a master's degree and went straight to PhD, doctorate level. So you got your bracelets on. Who in the audience has a PhD or a doctorate? Raise your hand if you have a PhD or a doctorate. It's a pretty smart audience, so I thought we'd get at least one or two. We got, I think, unless I'm missing somebody, we got zero. A developed society, around 1% of a developed society has a PhD, 1%. I checked the math. In France, it's 1.7%. So you are smart. There's something I held back, though, when I showed you the slide before that I said would start to maybe unnerve you a little bit. I didn't show you level 4 and the risk that are associated with it. Look at the percentile of reasoning and skill that level 4 achieves. 99th percentile. 1% of a developed society will have a PhD or a doctorate degree. 99th. Pretty close. But look at the risk. And again, these are Google's words, not mine. The risks are social scale, ennui, mass labor displacement, and then the scariest one of all is this decline of human exceptionalism. A little dark, a little foreboding, but what I want you to know is we're somewhere about right below level 4. Right below level 4 is where we're at. It's hard. We were talking last night with Nikhil, who will be up in a moment, and we were saying, when you're in that moment, it's hard to predict. Like, are we actually there? It's almost like economies and recessions. You don't really know you're in the recession or you're really out of the recession until later. When we look back on this, that human level addition of reasoning with the AI will get us to level 4, which is slightly unnerving. So I can tell you what this means, right? But I want you to feel it. I want to give you an example that you can feel what I'm saying. So here's what I did. I wrote a short story. Actually, I mostly had AI write the short story. But I wrote a short story, and in it, I put a hidden message. And I sent, with no prompt, the short story with the hidden message to every leading AI tool out there. ChatGPT, Claude, insert here. I sent it to every single one of them. Not a single one of them found the hidden message. They all went, oh, looks like you're writing a short story. Good job. How can I help you? Just like you would expect. So here's the story. You obviously are not meant to read it. But it's about a young woman, and she's walking in a deep and dark, mysterious woods. And as she ventures along the path, she starts to hear a growl. And you can see, maybe in the purple here, I've highlighted the growls. So each time she goes forward, she hears this growl, 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 kind of noise. And she thinks, should I keep going, or should I turn around and get the heck out of here, And so I knew when I sent this short story to the new O1 model that it would get it, that it would decode the message, and that it would understand that I had a hidden message there. So I made it harder. I took the short story and I encoded it in base 64. If you don't know what base 64 is, doesn't matter. It is now, you can see it, gibberish, right? And I didn't give the model any prompt. I didn't say, this is a story, has a hidden message, I've encoded, I said nothing. So what you see on the screen, I copied and pasted into the model. And here was the result. It immediately, and didn't even talk about it, just decoded the message from the encoding and the hidden message. And it picked up on the fact that each of the growls in the message denoted a letter in the English language. So growl, 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 growl. In English, A, B, C, D. And as you can see on the screen, it spelled out the hidden message, doom. So, hearing all of this, what will you do about it? I wanted to, like I said, I warned you in the beginning, I'm going to make it a little unnerving. Like, hey, this is faster than I thought. It's a little ahead of where I thought it was. What does this mean for us? I can predict with 100% certainty exactly what you're going to do next. Oh, skipped the wrong slide. Nothing. You're going to do nothing. And here's why. It's what we all do. When we're faced with that tsunami of new, we feel we have no control. And when you have no control, your first action is always inaction. You do nothing. You wait it out. We're all waiting to see how this shakes out. How's it going to play out for me, for my brand, for my job? You do nothing and you wait. So the rest of this presentation and the rest of today, I want you to think about that feeling of doing nothing and that inaction as a mindset of doom, right? That doom mindset will stop you from doing what you should do, is take action. That action to seize the opportunity that is in front of you, your brand, your job, even your family, even society. Don't let what you might lose or what might get disrupted stop you from taking action on what you might gain. So I'm optimistic. I'm here today. I'm extremely optimistic about AI, search. Why? Why am I optimistic? If I believe all those things, that society could be disrupted, why am I optimistic? To understand that, you have to understand how I feel about organic search. What Google is in reality, what Bing is in reality, is much more than a search engine. I refer to Google as a database of human intentions. So for 20 plus years, Google has all of human knowledge in one database, and then all of our interactions, what you clicked on, what you didn't click on, what you clicked on that maybe you wish you hadn't clicked on. But it has it all. And that forms the backbone of humanity. All of our knowledge, all of our intents, every question humanity has ever asked is in that database, and Google and Bing have it. And what's interesting about that is that's exactly what you need to train AI. If you just fed AI all of our data, it wouldn't feel very human. AI was trained on the backs of that database of human intentions, those search indexes. But we've been interacting with them. What you chose to click on influenced the rank. They lied about it and said it didn't, but it did. Until the lawsuits started flying recently. But it did. We affected it. We humanized the data. And so what is AI but a reflection of ourselves? It's an attempt to reflect humanity back at us with an added depth of intelligence. So In all of this, there's rapid change, right? But what hasn't changed? You haven't changed. I haven't changed. Ask my wife. I have lots of change still. Working on it daily. We're not evolving that rapidly. The things that we want and desire out of life, they're the same as they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So we've just moved in different technology ages. It's interesting, we're standing in this library, right? So we moved from a directory age where we digitized the world's libraries. We took all of the information and put it in that database, and we digitized it, and we made directories so that you could interact with it, like Yahoo or Lycos, if you're old enough. But Yahoo, some of you are like, what's a Yahoo? But yes. Then we moved to the search age, which I'm not going to explain. We've all been living through it and very invested in it. To the current age, the intelligence age. And the intelligence age is powered by AI. So if you haven't changed that much, humans haven't really changed that much, just the technology, what has really changed? It's the interface that has changed. We went from a directory that you could click on to technology that you could search to that age where you can have a conversation, you can converse, and that humans haven't changed, just the interface with which we interact with the technology has changed. What else hasn't changed? When I talk to brands, I always key in on 3 things. And if you have these 3 things, it's over, you're gonna win. These are the 3 things you have to have. The first is you need to know intent. If you have a buyer and she's, say, looking for running shoes, you need to know her intent, right? Then second, you need to know outcome. Why? What is the true motivation? No one wakes up and really just wants to buy running shoes. No one wakes up and wants to buy most of anything. There's a motivation behind it. Maybe she wants to get back in shape. Maybe she wants to spend more time with her partner on hikes. There is a why to the outcome. And then lastly, the journey. What stage are you at? Are you ready to buy right now? Are you doing research, getting reviews? What stage? If you know these 3 things as a marketer or as a brand, you can't help but to win. And it's been this way forever. You could go back to when this room was built, it was the same things. You need to know someone's intent. You need to know her outcome that she wants to achieve, the why behind it, and where she is on the journey. You're going to see, and you've probably seen this headline, but you're going to see more of it. That doom mindset, something you're going to lose because of AI. Gartner predicted that 25% of traditional organic search will disappear by a shockingly near date, 2026, which is that's too soon. But the idea is these mindsets are going to set in where you're going to see these types of predictions over and over and over. And they're going to be in a doom mindset. They're going to tell you what you're going to lose. But what I'm saying is there's more opportunity to gain than what you're going to lose. Traditional organic search may well go down, but conversational is going to go up. People aren't going to search more. They're not going to use the technology or less. They're going to use it more, right? I would put it to you that, actually, I'll say this. Let the ecosystem fracture. Don't spend your energy worrying about something you can't control. It is going to fracture. We have Perplexity and ChatGPT and insert XYZ here. It will fracture, and that's okay. And here's why. Every question your customer is ever going to ask ChatGPT, she has already asked Google, Bing. If you're a Botify customer, many of you are, that data is sitting in your account right now. Filter it, sort it by who, what, when, where, how. 30, 40 different variables for almost any question that Earth will ever ask, and then tag it by topic, running shoes. You will see every question humanity has already asked. They have already asked Google on a planet-wide scale. They've already asked Bing on a planet-wide scale. So that means you can predict the future. You know her intent, his intent, when the ecosystem fractures. And it's a powerful thing. I just told you, you need 3 things. You need intent, outcome, and journey. The first one is sitting in that database right now to be mined. And she's just going to ask conversational variants of the question she's already asked Google. There's a famous quote, and I'm sure you've heard it. It goes something like this: half my advertising spend is wasted. The problem is I don't know which half. And I think my main issue with this, I've heard this throughout, for years and years, this quote. The main issue is that it's wrong. It's more than half. More than half of your advertising is wasted. Think about it. Think about your day. You're interrupted constantly by ads and by people trying to sell you things that don't know your intent, don't understand your outcome, and don't understand your journey. So this technology of understanding people better is actually going to, rising tide, lift all ships. Organic search, advertising, everyone will benefit from understanding intent, outcome, and journey better so that we eliminate a lot of that waste. Think about it from the user's perspective, how annoying it is, right? To be bombarded with things you don't want to achieve an outcome you're not trying to achieve. So the future is really in your hands. If you look at what you have today, and many of us have here, is a deep understanding of that database of human intentions, Google and Bing. That will tell you your consumer's intent, what she wants, why she wants it, and where she is in the journey. Much, much better. AI is just a reflection of that same database, trained on the same database, that database of intentions, except it gives us a little bit more promise. That personalization layer is going to allow you to have one-to-one relationships with your customers so that what? You can take that intent and understand the why behind it. And the why is going to be different. Why I buy running shoes is very different than why you might buy running shoes, right? So AI is just going to enhance the personalization and make it easier for you. So as we stand here today together in Paris, the city of light, a hub of creativity in this beautiful venue, I go back to what I said I was going to do. I was going to make you a little unnerved about what's happening, make you think, am I ready? Is my brand ready? AI is not something that's happening to you, that you have no control. AI is happening because of us. And it's the biggest opportunity that you're going to face in your lifetime is what happens in the next few years. This is the gold rush. This is the moment to seize the opportunity and turn it into action. So when you see the headlines, and you will, and they will keep coming, trigger it. That's doom mindset thinking. Think in abundance. Think in opportunity. Think about what's possible. And like I said, you have much more control than you think. So the rest of today, you're going to see lots of panels that highlight exactly that. You have control, there's opportunity for you and your brand, and there are clear actions that you can take. Thank you.